Hello, everyone. Welcome to Beyond Life Paranormal Podcast. I'm your host, Russell Reynolds, and we got an interesting show tonight. We are going to dive into the mystery of Slender Man, the Wampus Cat, and the Jersey Devil. I want to say hi to everybody that's tuning in the chat. Hi, Damien. Good morning. Hey, Greg. Welcome in. So we're gonna get started. My guest couldn't be here tonight, so we're gonna do a show on Slender Man. The viewers have been asking for this, so figured this would be the perfect time than any to do it. Oh, thank you, Greg. You got to thank Katie. She made it. So, all right. Without further ado, let's dive in. We're going to start off with Slender Man. As you can see, I got him up on the stage here in the picture of him. Hello, Arlene. Welcome in. He's supposed to be a mystical creature that likes to kidnap children. I did some history research on him. Let's see here. He's in part of the monster category. Some believe he's a demon. Others believe he's kind of like in the fairy category. Some believe he's a tupla, which is kind of what the Tibetan monks used to call forward when they would meditate. They would call in these tuplas to help them in the spirit world when they were meditating and using their mind. But Slender Man's a faceless beast. Its aliases are Der Chirurg, Gore, or Raleigh Hotep, which I think is something Native American. And the titles that they give him is Operator, Overseer, Administrator, Thief of Gods, Thief of Cuck, Candlestick Man, Man in the Woods, Thin Man, Tall Man, Faceless Fae, Faceless Beast, Tarnished Fae, He Who Fell Race, and Fairy Tupla. Personify death, stalking, fear, theft, darkness, and other relationships. He's known as an enemy, proxies, servants, channelings, associates. Occupation is kidnapping children, traumatizing adults, murdering witnesses. Affiliations himself, unseelie court alignment. And they put him in the category of evil. The Slender Man is a mythical fairy or ghoul that is said to wander and roam the deep and dark corners of the woods around the globe. While regarded as a tupla, he acts like a typical mischievous but malevolent fae where he kidnaps children. Appearance: thousands of witnesses describe him of being in a black suit with abnormally long arms, deathly pale skin, unnaturally tall, and with no discernible facial features or characteristics. He's also depicted or described as having elongated appendages that can either install fear into his victim or abduct them. He can, however, assume other forms in order to lure unexpected humans away. He is notorious for traumatizing and abducting his victims, whom are mostly compromised of children. While his true motives are unknown, they are regarded as malevolent. So with a malevolent, I mean, you could count that as maybe something demonic also. But hunters have spotted him in the woods. I'm reading some of the comments here. Slender Man intrigues me. Yeah, he intrigues me too, Damien. That's why we decided to do a show on him. He is one entity or a race or more than one. You might see him as evil, but maybe a higher purpose. True. Hey, Cousin Dawn, welcome in. Josh Baranski, hello. Welcome in. So let's get back to it. Overview of him. While originally thought to be a real supernatural creature, it is later revealed that the Slender Man is nothing more than a tupla. Tupla is a theatrical entity in the Tibetan mysticism, described as an artificial being or thought form, though the use of deep meditation by Tibetan monks or the use of magic. Hunters believe that Slender Man was created by this method, and is highly possible that children were said to be the cause of the being's manifestation in our plane of existence. Because anyone who abducts children is evil. Yeah, I agree. It is highly possible that the children were said to be the cause of the being's manifestation in our plane of existence. Because of this, he has become an urban legend, a boogeyman used in a wide variety of internet stories to spook online users. According to a few hunters, it is believed that after the Slender Man manifested in this plane of reality, he became compatible with it in the process, meaning that the amount of fear that was being put into that welcomed the existence of the Slender Man was so potent that it found itself merging with the realm's thoughts and imagination to create it. Thus, the entity is classed as being an extra-dimensional in nature, while he is dismissed as nothing more than an urban legend to scare children. Sightings of him continue regardless, and to be witnessed by hunters is something of a rare event. The belief in him dates back all the way back to ancient Egypt or Rome. Carvings in Brazilian cave paintings dating back to 9000 BC depict a strangely elongated character leading a child. Another carving found in the tombs of Egypt show an odd figure with multiple upper limbs and something that has not been found in hieroglyph language. This creature is referred as the thief of the gods. The Slender Man represents a child fear of adults. To a child, an adult is seen as quite massive, imposing, and downright intimidating in their eyes, which makes sense to why the Slender Man is described as being unnaturally tall even in the eyes of adults and teenagers. He also represents a child's fear of being taken away or abducted, which is a common horrific act around the world where children are mysteriously abducted by strangers and never heard from again. Slender Man also shares characteristics with the mythical boogeyman, where adults tell their children to behave or else the Slender Man will come abduct them during the night. This is evident in an old German tale where a mother's son was taken by the tall man for disobeying and wandering through the woods. And powers and abilities that Slender Man has. Slender Man's arrival is accompanied by a faint mist or fog, which soon begins to thicken. Victims who survived the encounter described the experience by feeling an overwhelming sense of dread and a weight of ancient evil pulling them down, paralyzing them. His description is made clear, but to witnesses it is but a blur, as they report seeing him as a hazy, ink-like black mist with his head giving off a rather brilliant light, accompanied by a high-pitched noise that causes the victim to experience nausea, nosebleeds, and delusions. He is also said to have a minor reality warping abilities. This is evident with people saying that whenever they attempt to take different routes to escape while in the forest or even on the roads, they come across a completely different location while they themselves memorize where they have originally been. This is another method of psychological torment by Slender Man. While he normally kidnaps children, it is not uncommon for him to kidnap adults as well. It is said that when the Slender Man takes them to his realm, he has them undergo transformations through mental and physical torture, becoming proxies, his personal agents. It is a child's manifestation or a manifestation from adults trying to form control over children. Yeah. And I mean, with him being now spotted all over the United States, I mean, you hear a lot of it up north in Wisconsin. They say they spot Slender Man quite a bit in the woods and kidnapping children. And but what's to say? I mean, he could live in like the Appalachian Mountains too and survive if he's living in like Wisconsin, Seattle, all out in the West Coast too, is spotting them. But I don't believe that he's a Tupla per se. I think he's more of a darker demonic. He could even be part of the elemental realm too. It's hard to say. There is a report of a kid stabbing Slender Man to death. He supposedly murdered Slender Man. He went through trial and all kinds of stuff, and they ended up locking him in a mental asylum for it, which don't know if that how true that is or not, but he says that he stabbed Slender Man to death, that he murdered Slender Man, but they never did find any evidence or anything like that. Could he be an ancient ex? Yeah, that's another that's a good point right there. That is a good question. I mean, he could be. He could be an extraterrestrial sent here. And you know how extraterrestrials like to abduct people too, so he could fall in that category as well. If anybody has any more questions on Slenderman, feel free to post them in the chat. We've got 3 things we're talking about tonight. So we got the Wampus Cat and the Jersey Devils, another topic we're going to be talking about tonight. Yeah, they say he's multi-dimensional, that he comes from another realm. And that's why he's able to do mind control on children and stuff, and puts them through his physical torture and make him his he makes them kids his personal agents. I wouldn't doubt he tries to make them more Slendermen out there. But I mean, he's not limited to kids too. They say he's kidnapping adults as well. Yeah, I mean Hatman. Yeah, there's theory on Hatman as well too, because you don't see a ghost with that same figure constantly. Yeah, that's don't know. I mean, I promised Supernatural Link I wouldn't go political tonight, so on that, I mean it could be something they messed up. Who knows? I mean, there is no real good scientific evidence on Slender Man's existence, too. I mean, there was another report I read that he was just made up for an internet hoax, also just to scare people, and they thought it'd be good for entertainment. Seen Hatman, but still, yeah, I've seen Hatman before on a few investigations, but never could explain them. Why this man just shows up in this hat. That'll be for another show. I'll do a whole show on Hatman as well. But yeah, Slender Man, I draw a blank. I mean, some of the pictures I found of him too, he's also got extra like tentacles coming out of him, like an octopus and stuff like that. That people believe that's what he looks like as well. Close Encounters of the Third Kind at end looks like Slender Man at ship. Yeah. Yeah, it could be. I mean, I've seen like an elemental disguise itself as like a humanoid figure, like a draconian starseed. we've seen actually manifest itself to look like a humanoid and disguise itself. So they are starting to get found worldwide now. I mean, they've been spotting them in Germany. They've spotted them all over the United States now. For a while, it was only like Wisconsin was seeing Slender Man in the woods and stuff. To put him in alien entities, yeah, they have been known to. Yeah, I mean, he does mind control on kids and stuff to make him his their personal assistants. Slender Man I saw at Bachelor's Grove actually more like Hat Man in all black. Yeah. Yeah, Hat Man's got that he wears that top hat and you see him, that's all he wears is that hat and he's just like a black figure with no eyes. You can see right through him. So we're gonna move on to our next one. Our next one we're gonna talk about is the Wampus Cat. The Wampus Cat is spotted in the Appalachian Mountains. It dates all the way back to the Native Americans, the Cherokees. It's a kind of looks like a mountain lion, but only it's got four front legs. So it says the Wampus Cat is a cat-like creature in American folklore that varies widely in appearances ranging from frightful to comical depending on region. Early references from the American Dialect Society describe the Wampus Cat as a creature heard whining about camps at night, a spiritual green-eyed cat having occult powers, or an undefined imaginary animal. Writing in 1951, folklorist Vance Randolph described the Wampus Cat as a kind of amphibious panther which leaps into the water and swims like a colossal mink. And the Wampus Cat was mentioned in newspaper accounts in the 1930s in the Pride Mount of North Carolina, where the creature was accused of killing livestock. Margaret R. Tyron humorous depiction of the Wampus Cat catching an eagle from the 1939 book Fearsome Critters. Henry H. Tyron's humorous 1939 book Fearsome Critters describes the Wampus Cat as being native to Idaho and having an amazing right forearm that works like a folding pruning hook on the pantographic principle. He gives it a binomial nomenclature, aquil permildidence. I murdered that word bad. For forcipi. If you haven't heard of the Wampus Cat before, you're missing out on one of the most enigmatic cryptids out there. The legendary creature has roots in American folklore, particularly the Appalachian region. Described as a fearsome hybrid mountain lion and a woman, believers say the Wampus Cat roams the wilderness, emitting eerie sounds that strike terror into the hearts of those who cross its path. The origins of the Wampus Cat, the lure of the Appalachia, historical accounts, physical descriptions, and sightings, purported abilities and behavior, the Wampus Cats in pop culture, origins of the Wampus Cat, Cherokee folklore offers a few perspectives on the Wampus Cat. One legend tells of Running Deer, a Cherokee woman who wanted to take down the evil spirit EWAH, known as the Spirit of Madness. Running Deer wanted revenge for she believed the spirit was responsible for driving her husband, Standing Bear, to madness. Equipped with they call it a booger mask, and a spirit of a mountain cat, she surprised and defeated the spirit, becoming the tribe's spirit talker and home protector. Some believe that Running Deer's spirit resides within the Wampus Cat, guarding the Cherokee lands against dark forces hidden in the depths of Tennessee. According to another legend, the creature was once a woman who spied on a sacred ceremony by hiding beneath the pelt of a mountain lion. A medicine man punished the woman by transforming her into a fearsome feline entity, the Wampus Cat. Thanks, Damien. Damien said you're doing good with words, better than me for sure. Yeah, some of those words are hard to pronounce because a lot of it's Native American language, and I don't know Cherokee too much because my Native American heritage is Comanche. So the lore of the Appalachia. Throughout the Appalachian region, the Wampus Cat is known by different names, from Galliwampus to Whistling Wampus, and is rumored to appear at twilight or dawn. In Appalachian folklore, the mystical beast is often portrayed as a cat-like embodiment of a cursed woman who was punished for her disobedience or involvement in witchcraft. Other interpretations suggest that the concept of the Wampus Cat was influenced by European mythology, specifically the idea of witches or women with shape-shifting abilities. These influences may have merged with local Appalachian folklore over time. Some historic accounts also lend weight to the existence of the Wampus Cat. The Greenville Sun reported December 17, 1918, a wampus is reportedly roaming the Big Ridge in the vicinity of Gethsemane. The newspaper went on to say that the sightings and rumors of the Wampus Cat have persisted for generations, further fueling the intrigue and telltales surrounding the beast. Years later, the creature made headlines again when it was blamed for a string of livestock deaths. Newspapers reported that the elusive monster had consumed dogs, pigs, and other animals in the North Folk area. They speculated that the wampus might belong to the species long believed to be extinct. While the papers of yore published a few reports of the Wampus Cat killing livestock, there is still no tangible proof of the cryptid's existence. Physical description and sightings. Eyewitness described the Wampus Cat as a large and fearsome creature with a bobcat face, often portrayed as a cross between a cat and a human, with sharp, elongated claws and fangs. Its most distinctive feature is its glowing yellow eyes, and is supposedly pierced through the darkness of the night as it roams the Appalachian Mountains. Eyewitnesses have reported seeing the creature with a muscular feline body covered in dark, matted fur, accompanied by a long, sinuous tail that aids in its balance and agility. Some accounts assert that the creature has 6 legs and is more of a half-cat, half-dog hybrid. Sightings of the creature have been sporadic, typically occurring deep within dense forests or in remote areas. Witnesses describe feelings of unease and overwhelming sense of being watched when encountered the creature. Purported abilities and behavior. The Wampus Cat allegedly has several supernatural abilities, one of the most notable being its ability to emit spine-chilling screams. These vocalizations are believed to be the method of attracting prey or warding off potential threats. The half-cat creature is also thought to possess exceptional speed, agility, and stealth, allowing it to navigate the densest of forests and remain undetected. Legends suggest that it can shapeshift or become invisible, making it even more chilling to track or capture. These extraordinary abilities have both fascinated and frightened those who have delved into the beast's mythology. The Wampus Cat in pop culture, the enigmatic creature has not only woven itself into rich tapestry of folklore, but has also left its mark on popular culture You can read about its haunting presence in Cormac McCarthy's novel The Orchard Keeper, while its formidable image pops up in fantasy role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons. Within the Harry Potter universe, where magic wands contain cores made of enchanted substances, wampus hair makes an appearance as core material. The wampus is also one of the four houses of the Ilvermorny School of Witchcraft and Wizardry in North America. Now, the wampus cat holds a special place as the mascot for a number of schools, including Atoka High School, Ithaca High School, and Leesville High School, and the Urahari Wampus Cats, an independent college-gate baseball team out there of North Carolina, proudly carry the mythical creature's name. So it's kind of interesting with the Wampus Cat that it can shapeshift, it can disappear. So it's kind of reminds you of like falling in the same cryptid category as kind of like a Bigfoot. And Arlene Smith says Satan can be everywhere and anything. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, his minions can disguise themselves as whatever they want to. We've learned they can disguise themselves as a loved one. They can disguise themselves as a child. So you're not lying there. This is Goro. Yeah, right? Yeah, if you guys are gamers and familiar with the Mortal Kombat series, Goro had the 6 arms. So could he be a skinwalker form? Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could for because I mean it is through the Native American legends that they spotted it in the spirits, and you know how skinwalkers, which Native Americans don't like to call them skinwalkers because that calls them forward. To a Native American, they're known as shapeshifters. But they do transform into different animals. I mean, they'll transform into a coyote, bird, seeing them transform into a red-tailed hawk, and then to an owl, because in some Native American cultures, an owl is a messenger of death. And then other Native Americans believe an owl is a messenger or they're there to bring good luck. But yeah, this Wampus cat kind of reminds me of a mountain lion too, and in some ways too. But it does have like the bobcat pointed ears as well. Sounds like a Jericonda that roams Florida. Hey Brian, welcome in. Yeah, I mean they got them Black Panthers down in Florida too. Someone better warn Harry Potter about the owls. Yeah, I mean the Wampus cat's like a national hero in the Appalachia. Is what they were. I was just reading to you guys that schools worship it and use it as their mascot. Baseball teams use it, so it's kind of pretty common. So I mean, there's a lot of strange things in the Appalachian Mountains. I mean, I'm not surprised if they don't see Slender Man there too as well. You find them by having a bad friend tie a stake around you. Yeah, not only that, you'll have wolves chasing you for that, even bears. So if they tie a stake around a friend's waist and send them running through the woods. Yeah, they seem to be invisible. And that's why nobody's ever caught one on camera or anything like that because they seem and you know how like a mountain lion is, you don't see a mountain lion a lot of times until it's too late. They'll stand up on mountain tops and watch you and stalk you from there till you get close enough till they can pounce. So, I mean, they may be doing this, following the same type of stalking that a mountain lion does. Always take a friend you can outrun. Yeah, right. I don't know if you can outrun that thing. I mean, if it's got 6 legs, imagine the speed that that thing's got. It probably runs faster than a mountain lion. And with the muscles, you see how the definitive muscles in its arms and stuff, right? Yeah, I don't think you'd be able to. That thing would probably stand up on its hind legs and swatch it. It'd probably stand up as tall almost as a grizzly bear if it probably stood up. Yeah, true. Don't climb a tree. Yeah, they'll probably climb a tree. But yeah, well, that's like the screaming woman of the woods in the Appalachian Mountains too. What's not saying that it's not one of these that they're hearing screaming also? And I've talked to a few moonshiners and they hear screams out in the woods too. So, but some say those screams are actually moonshiners making those screams to scare people away so they don't find the still sites. Make sure you have heavy artillery. Yeah. Yeah, you want to. But then again, if it disappears, I don't even know if you could even shoot it. Yeah, miss they are. I mean, yeah, screaming tribal woman and then but the woman also I did a show not too long ago on the screaming woman of the Appalachian. What they believe it's a girl that been murdered by a bunch of loggers. She was home by herself and they drug her back into the woods back there and she was never at rest and they buried her deep in the woods and they never found her. Yeah, he's basically the predator and you're the prey if you go out there looking for it. I'm sure it'll probably stalk you. Yeah, trail cameras. I mean, like my buddy Carter that does the Bigfoot research, he puts trail cameras out in the Mark Twain National Forest and he's captured some compelling Bigfoot evidence on camera. Oh, thanks, Damien. I appreciate that. So, if anybody's got any more questions on the Wampus Cat, we'll move on to the Jersey Devil. I give everybody a few more minutes, put some more questions in the chat before we move on. They move faster than a shutter speed, you'll not catch them on cam. Now, if they can move faster than that, yeah, you definitely won't catch them on a camera. Not even a video camera because the shutter speed on even a video camera is not fast enough to even film them. You may just catch the flash of them, but you're not going to get a definitive look at it. Unless they got a camera that's got so fast of a shutter speed, which somebody needs to make that. We need that for the paranormal. So when we're out there looking for it and something moves quick, we can catch it instead of a blur. All right, we're gonna move on. Yeah, that's a good question. I'm wondering if they do give off a heat source. I didn't find anything that said they do, but I'm wondering if they do give off like a heat source or even maybe even if they're cold or something like that. like a paranormal being, like some of them are cold and you'll get that blue on a thermal. That'd be kind of curious to test out. Take a thermal imaging camera out there and see if you can capture them. I know that show Mountain Monsters. They did an episode on the Wampus cat. They were trying to trap it. Yeah, bait them. I'm sure they'll probably go after meat and stuff like that. Yeah, and they can swim, so yeah, they won't give off a heat source with their fur being all wet coming out of the water. Yeah, it'd be definitely cool to take a thermal imaging camera out there and see if you can try to capture it on the thermal. But you got to figure there's more than one cryptid out there in them Appalachian Mountains, so you don't know if you're gonna get a Bigfoot, the feral people out there, or sheep squatch. I mean, that Appalachian's known for all its cryptid and that paranormal stuff that goes on. That's why so many people go missing out there. And it could be this thing too, why people go missing as well. It could contribute to it, being it's a predator and people never find the bodies. Like you're missing 411. I was always wondering if are people out there that would rip you off and steal your cameras. Yeah, I mean, in the national parks, you got people hiking those trails constantly. I mean, you got to be very careful, but they do make padlocks so you can padlock them to a tree now, so people can't steal them or get to your SD cards. Anyone got catnip? I don't know if it'll respond to catnip like a regular cat does. Cryptid playground, yeah. Appalachian is a cryptid playground, that's for sure. I mean, it goes the Appalachian Mountains to the Smoky Mountains, so. All right, we're going to move on to the Jersey Devil, which is a pretty interesting creature. I mean, a lot of sightings. Of what people have been reporting of the Jersey Devil. I haven't heard of any sightings in the Alaskan Triangle, but I'm sure they're probably out there. I mean, there's people in Alaska that swear Bigfoot's out there. They look for it. There's a bunch of monsters and stuff out there that people look for. Just need a huge ton of catnip, right? All right, we're going to go on to the Jersey Devil. I found a lot of info on the Jersey Devil. And I've watched a show. There was a guy on the show that claimed he is a descendant of the Jersey Devil. He showed the house and everything where the Jersey Devil was born. And its region is the Pine Barrens of New Jersey. And that's who the Jersey Devils hockey team's named after, is named after the Jersey Devil. So in South Jersey and Philadelphia folklore in the United States, the Jersey Devil, also known as the Leeds Devil, is a legendary creature said to inhabit the forests of the Pine Barrens in South Jersey. The creature is often described as a flying biped with hooves, but there are mainly variations. The common description of a bipedal kangaroo-like or wyvern-like creature with a horse or a goat head, leathery bat-like wings, horns, small arms with clawed hands, legs of cloven hoofs, and forked or pointed tail. It is also said that it has strange elongated body and a thick tail. It has been reported to move quickly and is often described as emitting a high-pitched, blood-curdling scream. Origins of the legend. Japhet Leeds' house on Moss Hill Road in Leeds Point, New Jersey in 1937. Mother Leeds' 13th child, the popular legend of the Jersey Devil, or Leeds Devil, is dated variously and attached to various place names such as the Pines, Pine Barrens, Lead Point. The Devil's mother is sometimes called a woman named Leeds or Mother Leeds of Burlington, but other names such as the Shrouds have been forwarded. According to some, the child transformed into the creature with hooves, a goat head, bat wings, and a forked tail. Growling and screaming, the child beat everyone with its tail before flying up the chimney and heading into the pines. In some versions of the tale, Mother Leeds was supposedly a witch, and the child's father was the devil himself. Some versions of the legend also state that the local clergyman subsequently attempted to exorcise the creature from the Pine Barrens. In a different telling, localized not at Leeds Point but at Estaville near Mays Landing, a Mrs. Leeds became pregnant around 1855 and rejected her baby, wishing a stork would deliver a devil. Thus, a winged devil was born and flew out the window. It would intermittently return, but the mother would shoo it away. The Leeds family, prior to the early 1900s, the Jersey Devil was referred to as the Leeds Devil or the Devil of Leeds, either in connection with the local Leeds family or the eponymous Leeds Point in South Jersey. Mother Leeds has been identified by some of the real-life Deborah Leeds on grounds that Deborah Leeds' husband, Japhet Leeds, named 12 children in the will he wrote during 1736, which is compatible with the legend. Deborah and Japhet Leeds also lived in the Leeds Point section of what is now Atlantic County, New Jersey, which is commonly the location of the Jersey Devil story. Brian Regal, a historian of science at Keene University, theorizes the story of Mother Leeds, rather than being based on single historical person alone, originated from the reputation of the local prominent Leeds family in the southern portion of the colonial era province of New Jersey, where religious political disputes became the subject of folklore and gossip among the local population. Regal contends that folk legends concerning these historical disputes evolved through the years and ultimately resulted in modern popular legend of the Jersey Devil during the early 20th century. Regal contends that the colonial era political intrigue involving early New Jersey politicians Benjamin Franklin and Franklin's rival almanac publisher Daniel Leeds 1651 to 1720 resulted in the Leeds family being described as monsters, and it was Daniel Leeds' negative description as the Leeds Devil rather than the actual creature that created the later legend of the Jersey Devil. Much like Mother Leeds, the Jersey Devil myth, Daniel Leeds' third wife had given birth to 9 children. A large number of children even for the time. Leeds' second wife and first daughter had both died during childbirth. Lead and his family were prominent in the South Jersey and Pine Barrens area. As a royal surveyor with strong alliance to the British Crown, Leeds surveyed and acquired land in the Egg Harbor area, located within the Pine Barrens. The land was inherited by Leeds' sons and family and is now known as Leeds Point, one of the areas in the Pine Barrens currently most associated with the Jersey Devil legend and alleged Jersey Devil sightings. Starting in the 17th century, English Quakers established settlements in southern Jersey. The region in which the Pine Barrens are located. Daniel Leeds, a Quaker and a prominent person of pre-Revolution colonial southern New Jersey, became ostracized by his Quaker congregation after his 1687 publication of almanacs containing astrological symbols and writings. Leeds' fellow Quakers deemed the astrology in these almanacs as too pagan or blasphemous, and the almanacs were censored and destroyed by local Quaker community. In response to, and in spite of his censorship, Leeds continued to publish even more astrological Christian writings and became increasingly fascinated with Christian occultism, Christian mysticism, and cosmology, demonology, and analogy, and natural magic. In the 1690s, after his almanacs and writings were further censored as blasphemous and heretical by the Philadelphia Quaker meeting, Leeds continued to dispute with the Quaker community, converting to Anglicanism and publishing anti-Quaker tracts criticizing Quaker theology and accusing Quakers of being anti-monarchists. And the ensuing dispute between Leeds and the southern New Jersey Quakers over Leeds' Cornbury, despised among the Quaker communities, Leeds also worked as a counselor to Lord Cornbury. About this time, considering Leeds as a traitor for aiding the crown and rejecting Quaker beliefs, the Quaker Burlington meeting in southern New Jersey subsequently dismissed Leeds as evil. In 1700, the local South Jersey Quaker community retaliated against Leeds. Anti-Quaker tracts with their own tract, Satan's Harbinger, encountered being something by the way of answer to Daniel Leeds, which is publicity accused Leeds of working for the devil. In 1716, Daniel Leeds' son Titan Leeds inherited his father's almanac business, which continued to use astrological content and eventually competed with Benjamin Franklin's popular Poor Richard Almanac. The competition between the two men intensified when, in 1733, Franklin strategically used astrology in his almanac to predict Titan Leeds' death on October of that same year. Though Franklin's prediction was intended as a joke at his competitor's expense and a means to boost almanac sales, Titan Leeds was apparently offended at the death prediction, publishing a public abomination of Franklin as a fool and a liar. In a public response, Franklin mocked Titan's Leeds' outrage and humorously suggested that, in fact, Titan's Leeds had died in accordance with the earlier prediction and was thus writing his almanacs as a ghost, resurrected from the grave to haunt and torment Franklin. Franklin continued to jokingly refer to Titan's Leeds as a ghost even after Titan's Leeds' actual death in 1738. Daniel Leeds' blasphemous and occultist reputation and his pro-monarchy stance in the legendary anti-monarchist colonial South of New Jersey, combined with Benjamin Franklin's later continuous depiction of his son Titan Leeds as a ghost, may have originated and contributed to the local folk legend of the so-called Leeds Devil lurking in the Pine Barrens. During 1728, Titan's Leeds began to include the Leeds family crest on the masthead of his almanacs. The Leeds family crest depicted and wyvern, a bat-winged dragon-like legendary creature that stands upright on two clawed feet. Regal notes that the wavering on the Leeds family crest is reminiscent of the popular descriptions of the Jersey Devil. The inclusion of the family crest on Leeds almanacs may have further contributed to the Leeds of the family's poor reputation among locals and possibly influenced the popular description of the Leeds Devil or Jersey Devil. The fearsome towards royalty and aristocracy, and notably with the family crest were associated, may have helped facilitate the legend of the Leeds Devil in association with the Leeds family with devils. The Leeds Devil, Regal notes that by the late 18th century and the early 19th century, at the latest, the Leeds Devil had become an ambiguous legendary monster ghost story in present-day South Jersey. In the early to mid-19th century, stories continued to circulate in southern New Jersey of the Leeds Devil, a monster wandering the Pine Barrens. An oral tradition of Leeds Devil monster ghost stories became well established in the Pine Barrens area. Although the Leeds Devil legend has existed since the 18th century, Regal states that the more modern depiction of the Jersey Devil, as well as the now pervasive Jersey Devil name, first became truly standardized in current form during the earliest 20th century. During the pre-revolutionary period, the Leeds family, who called Pine Barrens home, soured the relationship with the Quaker majority. The Quakers saw no hurry to give their former fellow regionalists an easy time in the circle of gossip. His wives had all died, as had several children. His son Titan stood accused by Benjamin Franklin of being a ghost. The family crest had winged dragons on it, and in time when thoughts of independence were being worn, these issues made the Leeds family political and religious monsters. From all this, over time, the legend of the Leeds Devil was born. References to the Jersey Devil do not appear in newspapers or other printed material until the 20th century. First major flap came in 1909. It is from these sightings that the popular image of the creature, bat-like wings, horsed head, claws, and general air of a dragon became standardized. Indeed, many references to the Leeds Devil or Devil of Leeds appear in earlier printed material prior to the widespread usage of the Jersey Devil name. During 1859, the Atlantic Monthly published an article detailing the Leeds Devil folktales popular among Pine Barrens residents or pine rats. The newspaper from 1887 described sightings of a winged creature referred to the Devil of Leeds, allegedly spotted near the Pine Barrens as well, and well known among the local populace of Burlington County, New Jersey. Whenever he went near it, it would give a most unearthly yell and frighten the dogs. It whipped at every dog on the place. That thing said, the colonial is not a bird nor an animal, but it is the Leeds Devil, according to the description, and it is born over in Isham, Burlington County, 100 years ago. There is no mistake about it. I never saw the horrible critter myself, but I can remember well when it was roaming around the Isham woods 50 years ago, and when it was hunted by men and dogs and shot at by the best marksmen there were in all of South Jersey, but could not be killed. There isn't a family in Burlington or any of the adjoining counties that does not know of the Leeds Devil, and it is the boogaboo to frighten children with when I was a boy. And in reported sightings, there have been many claims of sightings and occurrences involving the Jersey Devil. According to the legend, while visiting the Hanover Mill Works to inspect his cannonballs being forged, Commodore Stephen Decatur sighted a flying creature and fired a cannonball directly upon it to no effect. Joseph Bonaparte, elder brother of Napoleon, is also claimed to have seen the Jersey Devil while hunting on his Bordentown estate about 1820. During 1840, the Jersey Devil was blamed for several livestock killings. Similar attacks were reported during 1841, accompanied by tracks and screams. In Greenwich Township in December of 1925, a local farmer shot at an identified animal as it attempted to steal his chickens, and then photographed the corpse. Afterwards, he claimed that none of the 100 people he showed it to could identify it. On July 27th of 1937, an unknown animal with red eyes seen by residents of Downingtown, Pennsylvania, was compared to the Jersey Devil by a reporter for the Pennsylvania Bulletin of July 28th of 1937. In 1951, a group of Gibbstown, New Jersey boys claimed to have seen a monster matching the devil's description, and claims of a corpse matching the Jersey Devil description arose in 1957. During 1960, tracks and noises heard near Mays Landing were claimed to be from the Jersey Devil. During the same year, the merchants around the Camden offered $10,000 reward for the capture of the Jersey Devil, even offering to build a private zoo to house the creature if it was captured. Wave of sightings in 1909. During the week of January 16th through the 23rd of 1909, newspapers published hundreds of claims encounters with the Jersey Devil from all over South Jersey and the Philadelphia area. Among these alleged encounters were claims of the creatures attacked a trolley car in Haddon Heights and a social club in Camden. Police in Camden and Bristol, Pennsylvania supposedly fired on the creature to no effect. Other reports initially concerned unidentified footprints in the snow, but soon sightings of the creature resembling the Jersey Devil were being reported throughout South Jersey and as far away as Delaware and western Maryland. The widespread newspaper coverage created fear throughout the Delaware Valley, prompting a number of schools to close and co-workers to stay home. Vigilante groups and groups of hunters roamed the pines and countrysides search of the devil. During this period, it was rumored that the Philadelphia Zoo posted a $10,000 reward for the creature. The offer prompted a variety of hoaxes, including a kangaroo equipped with artificial claws and bat wings. Description and explanation. Skeptics believe that the Jersey Devil is to be nothing more than a creative manifestation upon the imaginations of the early English settlers in South Jersey, with plausible natural explanations including boogeyman stories created and told by Fort Pine Barrens residents as a form of children's entertainment, the byproduct of a historical local disdain for the Leeds family, the misidentification of unknown animals, and rumors based on common negative perceptions of the local rural population of the Pine Barrens known as the Pineys. The frightened reputation of the Pine Barrens may indeed have contributed to the Jersey Devil legend. Historically, the Pine Barrens was considered an hospitable land. Gangs of highwaymen, such as the politically disdained loyalist brigands known as the Pine Robbers. They were known to rob and attack travelers passing through the Barrens. During the 18th century and 19th century, residents of the isolated Pine Barrens were deemed the dregs or outcasts of society, poor farmers, fugitives, brigands, Native Americans, poachers, moonshiners, runaway slaves, and deserting soldiers, so called Pineys, have sometimes forced certain frightening stories about themselves and the Pine Barrens to discourage outsiders or intruders from entering the Barrens. Pineys were further demonized and vilified after two eugenics studies were published during the early 20th century, with depicted Pineys as congenital idiots and criminals, as seen in the research performed on the Kaliak family by Henry H. Goddard, which is now considered biased, inaccurate, unscientific, and most likely falsified. Due in part of their isolated and undeveloped nature, the Pine Barrens have themselves fostered various folk legends. Apart from the Jersey Devil, many other legends are associated with the Pine Barrens. Supernatural creatures and ghosts said to haunt the pine forests include the ghost of the pirate Captain Kidd, who supposedly buried treasure in the Pine Barrens and is sometimes allegedly seen in the company of the Jersey Devil. The ghost of the Black Doctor, the benevolent spirit of an African American doctor who, after being forbidden from practicing medicine due to his race, entered the Pine Barrens to practice medicine in the isolated communities of the Barrens, and is said to still come to aid of lost or injured travelers. The ghost of the Black Dog, which unlike many black dogs legends is usually portrayed as harmless. The ghost of the golden-haired girl, the spirit of a girl who is said to be staring out into the sea dressed in white, mourning the loss of her lover at sea, and the white stag. A ghostly white deer said to rescue travelers in the Barrens from danger. There are also folk tales concerning the blue hole, and usually clear blue and rounded body of water located in the Pine Barrens between Monroe Township, Gloucester County, and Winslow Township, Camden County, and often associated with the Jersey Devil. Jeff Brunner of the Humane Society of New Jersey thinks that the vagrant sandhill cranes are partially the bias of the Jersey Devil stories, adding, "There is no photographs, no bones, no hard evidence whatsoever. And worst of all, no explanation of its origins, and doesn't require belief in supernatural. Sandhill cranes are not indigenous or well known to South Jersey, are approximately the same size as the alleged Jersey Devil, and produce distinctive loud vocalizations as unfamiliar animals with distinctively loud trumpeting call, wayward or vagrant migrate. South Hill cranes that end up in South Jersey would thus potentially startle or frighten Pine Barren residents at night or under their circumstances in which the animal's true appearance was unclear." Outdoorsman and author Tom Brown Jr. spent several seasons living in the wilderness of the Pine Barrens. He recounts occasions when terrifying hikers mistook him for the Jersey Devil after he covered his whole body with mud to repel mosquitoes. Medical sociologist Robert E. Bartholomew and author Peter Hassel cite the infamous 1909 series of sightings of the Jersey Devil and the subsequent public panic as a classic example of mass hysteria begun by a regional urban legend. One New Jersey group called the Devil Hunters referred to themselves as official researchers of the Jersey Devil and devote time in collecting reports, visiting historic sites, and going on nocturnal hunts in the Pine Barrens in order to find proof of the Jersey Devil does in fact exist. Writing in John Harold Brunvan's American Folklore and Encyclopedia, Rutgers professor Angus Cress Gillespie called the Jersey Devil an obscure regional legend most for most of its existence, and said that after more than 250 years in oral circulation, the legend of the Jersey Devil may have variations. Gillespie cites that the devil's image used on t-shirts, buttons, and postcards and cocktails named after the devil has as indications that the recent history of the Jersey Devil is more than realm of popular cultural and folklore. Writer Dan Evon noticed the similarities between the Jersey Devil and existing megabat species found in Africa. Hoaxes. Gordon Stein, Encyclopedia of Hoaxes, noted that the alleged footprints of the Jersey Devil in 1909 resembled a horse hoof. According to Stein, a man later admitted that he had faked some of these footprints. And the World's Greatest Hoax 2006 has claimed that Norman Jeffries was involved in hoaxing the Jersey Devil. Norman Jeffries, publicist for Philadelphia's Arch Street Museum and renowned hoaxer, was well aware of the stories about the Jersey Devil, so when the museum proprietor T.F. Hopkins admitted that it was in danger of closure unless Jeffries came up with something to boast attendees, the publicist decided that a captive Jersey Devil would be the ideal crowd puller. He also planted non-fictional newspaper stories about the sightings of the devil. During the 1909, Jeffries and his friend Jacob Hope, an animal trainer, purchased a kangaroo from a circus and glued artificial claws, bat wings onto it. They declared to the public they had captured the devil and it was displayed on the museum. 20 years later, Jeffries admitted to the hoax. In board games, Fearsome Wilderness, depicting the Jersey Devil, and Man and Beast, an American comic legend, folklorist Roger Dorson outlined 6 criteria for establishing distinction among legendary creatures of American folklore. While the Jersey Devil was not expressly cited by Dorson, it nevertheless qualifies as the same level of relevance. Original research. Dorson specifies that the qualifier must exist in oral tradition, inspire belief, and conviction to become personalized, would institutionalized, be fanciful or mythical, and contain a comical side, which endears it to the American public. Oral tradition of the Jersey Devil well predates printed newspaper accounts, and belief in its own existence by many continues. The latter is more evident not only by commentators who elaborate on this possibility, but also by investigative programs such as Mother Leeds, 13th Child, in search of monsters, lore, and monsters and mysteries in America. As a fixture of organizations, it is a namesake for 2 professional ice hockey teams. The first, the Jersey Devils of the Eastern Hockey League, played from 1964 until the league folded in 73. The second, New Jersey Devils of the National Hockey League, played since 1982. The current team was formerly known as the Colorado Rockies, and their name was chosen by a poll shortly after the team relocated to New Jersey. The same trend towards cultural incorporation is further exemplified by the Jersey Devils' approximation in toy lines, such as its inclusion as a vinyl figure in Cryptozoic Entertainment, Krypton's Blind Box, as well as its application by Mortive by Six Flags Great Adventure for their Jersey Devil coaster developed by Rocky Mountain Construction. So there you have it on the Jersey Devil. Let's go scroll back to the comments here. I saw you guys were commenting while I was reading. Yeah, 20,000 people missing in the Appalachian is a lot. Doesn't like this one has any glide ratio. JD seems to like humanoid hot areas, but seems to be branching out while yeah, blood curdle scream would be more if I saw one, right? I mean, there's people reporting even to this day they're still seeing the Jersey Devil. February 1855, South Devon, after heavy snowfall, hooves footprints were seen roof grounds and covered distance up to 100 miles, 4-inch long, 3-inch wide, still sounds connected to similar. Yeah. No, this wasn't Photoshop. This was an actual picture that somebody actually took of it. South Devon, England, bad typo. Yeah, Josh Gates did a show on that. Yeah, he did. He did one on that. I think he did one on Mothman also. Hey, Rebecca, welcome in. Fact physical evidence is left behind leads me to believe it's a physical entity, not a dimensional being, which doesn't seem to leave anything other than stories of it. Yeah, it's kind of like an urban legend, which I believe it's this creature too. They say if you look in its piercing red eyes, it can hypnotize you, just like Mothman can. Interesting how the Jersey Devil is similar to a gargoyle. Yeah. And if you believe in like back in the 1800s and stuff, like your insane asylums and tuberculosis hospitals, like take Waverly Hills, for instance, gargoyles are supposed to be protectors. They would put them on the buildings and it's supposed to ward off evil spirits to keep the hospital clear of anything negative. Do you believe in the JD or you open mind? I believe it can exist in ancient Egypt, has hieroglyphs depicting wing. Yeah, I mean, I have an open mind to it. I've been to New Jersey several times. I mean, I grew up on the East Coast. So, I mean, I've heard reports of the Jersey Devil since I was a kid. Yeah, I would figure they'd be more native to Florida because it's a lot warmer down there too. Let me see if I can actually find a picture and see if we can compare it. But yeah, I mean, but it's weird though. If they're saying it's a sandhill crane, I'm looking at one right now, and I'll post it up on the screen for you guys. I mean, a sandhill crane doesn't look like. There's a sandhill crane. Yeah, that's another good thing, Damien. It could be an elusive thunderbird. Sea eagles have a 2.4 millimeter wingspan. Door frames are 2 meters for size comparison. Some say that the New Jersey tolls were set up by the New Jersey Devil, a way to make people's lives hard and difficult. Yeah, I've heard that. I'm doing good, Granzer. How are you? Thanks for coming in. So, a sort of long story that I recall from the 1700s about the New Jersey Devil was from a book on white and black magic. Yeah, because there is one report that says his mother was a witch and that his father is the devil himself. So, have you read any ideas that the New Jersey Devil may be an animal that was maybe in abundant when the first Europeans came over? I mean, yeah, I mean, it's a possibility. Yeah, see, sandhill cranes are 5 foot tall, and you look at that picture of the Jersey Devil, and you look at a sandhill crane. A sandhill crane's a lot taller than the Jersey Devil. Yeah, we've got sandhill cranes here in Missouri as well. I wonder what Native American legends, myths in that area are similar to the Jersey Devil. Yeah, I have not found anything on far as Native American side of it. Yeah, and it's a lot smaller in size wise. Oh, a dodo bird. Let's see. Let's see. I was able to find a dodo bird, and to me, the dodo bird don't even look nothing like it either. But yeah, it don't look nothing like that. Some reason the picture I found it won't let me pull it up. But yeah, dodo bird don't have horns or anything like that. They do have a knob on the top of their heads. But yeah, I don't think it's a dodo bird, Damien. It was said that people found hoof-like tracks, but in humanoid walking tracks. There was that one report that I read that said that his tracks were somebody had faked them. Similar species. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's another good option. What it could be, tracks picked back up, and on the other side of the log cabin, I walked through the cabin. I think they went up on the roof and seen tracks up there too. Zona 1890, yeah. Gargoyles. Story sightings, the only two recent times I heard about 1980s in the USA on top of a NASA building. The other in Chile in 2010. Yeah, I mean, for the ones that are just joining, I'll kind of recap for you. We are might have to scroll up for my story in New Jersey Devil if that makes sense. To recap, we were talking about Slender Man tonight. The Wampus Cat from the Appalachian. And then the New Jersey Devil. I mean, you got your urban legends. I mean, I don't know. I got an open mind to the Jersey Devil, but I'm not sure what to believe about him. I mean, until somebody actually gets physical evidence and captures one. But it's weird how it only stays to like New Jersey and Philadelphia area. There's no sightings anywhere else. Birds migrate, so not impossible. That's why it turns up and disappears. Yeah. I mean, if it is a bird like creature, and they say it's got bat wings, so it may be part bat also. Be out in Highland soon in the woods and forests if I see some. So I'll see if yeah, if you do, Damien, capture that on film and I'll get you on the show and we'll show that. Because I'd be curious to see if you capture that on film. Anybody's got any more questions? Always wear a body cam. Awesome. It's been a while since anyone New Jersey Devil sightings. Yeah, it's been a while. It's gone away. That's what I'm saying. I mean, no sightings in decades. Could it be a hoax or just fairy tale that's made up just to scare people or just create an urban legend? I mean, it's not hard to create an urban legend. You never know. You may be out there and you may not see him, but your camera might. But like I said, it's easy to create an urban legend. A buddy of mine and I did that in a cemetery that we were investigating. We were sitting on a bench and we were doing an EVP session. This car had pulled into the driveway of the cemetery. And I said to my buddy, you wanna mess with them? We knew it was teenagers. They were coming in there either to do party in the cemetery or they were coming to vandalize. So I was like, you want to have some fun? And he was like, yeah. And I said, in the count of three, both of us were in both dark clothing. So count of three, both of us get up and start walking towards that car and stay side by side. So counted three, we got up and we started walking towards the car. And we stayed side by side and they seen this big black figure just come walking at them. And I never seen a car slam it in reverse so quick and peel out of there. And then shortly after, the next day, there's an urban legend that two figures sitting on the bench at after midnight in the cemetery. Russell, it's like a young Russell sighting. And the guy looks like he was 14 years old, maybe younger. Yes, I wish I was 14 again. Yeah, there you go, Damien. Dress like a child. That might lure Slender Man out because he's known to kidnap kids. So, urban legend versus creepy pasta. Must admit, Hat Man is what drives me. It's him. I do hunt. Let me see if I can find a picture for some of the viewers that don't know who Hat Man is. Yeah, Hat Man's always fascinated me as well. Trying to share my screen here, guys. So just give me a minute here. There is Hat Man. Got a new cam in 2 weeks. Russell Fernando, aka William DeFalco, Cryptids and Monsters YouTube channel, talked about Grinning Man. I've heard of Grinning Man. Yeah, he's supposed to be like a ghost, and he's always got kind of like a evilish grin on his face. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it. And on my Facebook, I posted, but had no physical features. Yeah, he's interesting. Hatman is. Hatman is a phenomenon in which witnesses report seeing a shadow-like entity dressed in a trench coat and a hat of some kind, usually a fedora. The Hatman acts like a ghost and is almost always seen just standing up. This form can simply fade until the witness no longer sees it and has no apparent reaction to people. For example, many people reported bumping into this entity, which does absolutely nothing for seconds or minutes, then moves around a bit, just vanishes as if it couldn't detect who saw it. Unlike a ghost who might have visible facial features, the Hat Man is a shadow in the dark, and it's entirely with no identifying features. Many have reported this entity feeds on terror and does not vanish. He simply walks away as any normal person would. The shadow has substance, and many paranormal researchers believe that this entity just studies and observes. Not too much on Mothman. I know he's another mythical creature that people report, another urban legend. He does definitely fall into the category of a shadow person. You better hope he's not watching Cousin Don and that he looks like your husband. Definitely a show on him would be awesome. Yeah, I'll do an episode on Hatman for sure because I'm intrigued by Hatman. I mean that he is interesting. And they say the behavior of him is not believed to be dangerous at the moment. The most he is doing is typically standing in the corner of a room watching. But yeah, Hatman's definitely interesting. I mean, he would fall into a shadow figure category. Well, that's like some of these other shadow figures. You get some of them that just stand there and look at you, but don't do nothing. Not I disbelieve other cryptids, but him I've seen and touched. When you touched him, Damien, what did he do? Did he just move on or disappear? Or yeah, Mothman Prophecies was a good movie. I did see that. Have you done an episode on? Not yet. So when I do that episode on Hatman, I'll put in Mothman with it as well. Russell, if you've not had him already, maybe try to get Leon Trickler. I will definitely. I went back to bed, fell asleep. So the Hatman, a voyeur. They like to watch. Not yeah, kinda. He's basically a shadow figure ghost. Don't know what he was. If he was alive, it nobody can. Scientists don't know what even Hatman is either. I mean, all we know is he's a shadow figure entity, but we don't know of what. If it was ever living or it's from another dimension, another realm somewhere. I don't even know. I don't even have the answers on Hatman. That's what makes him so much of a mystery with it because nobody can depict on what Hatman even is. Or is Hatman an incubus? Could be. I mean, if it was a never living being, that would fall under a demon category. If it was never living, or could be an elemental. Russell, you were wearing a hat or Catman, right? Thanks, Josh. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to say what Hatman if he's. But I mean, if he was an incubus demon or a demon figure, you would figure he would want to hurt you, not just stand there and watch. it would attack you like a demonic entity would, which is weird because it just stands there and lurks like a creeper. Only one encounter, that's why I'm still angry normally. Kind of get camera or something, but go to bed, fall asleep. You know what you might have to do, Damien? Just before you go to bed, just set up the camera and just let it run. He did just watch. Yeah, I mean, so if he was part of the demonic, he would want to attack or anything like that. I mean, your incubus demons, they attack you. They're a sexual demon. So, but we'll definitely do a show on Hat Man and Mothman, and there's plenty of cryptids to do. Bunch of shows. So, if anybody else got any questions, feel free to post them up in the chat. Russell, I guess maybe Hat Man either waits for the victims to fall asleep, then attack. It could be. I mean, that's probably what it does. It lurks and then waits till you fall asleep and then goes after you because when you're sleeping, you're vulnerable. But I don't even know doing the Lord's Prayer would even work on Hat Man. I don't even know. I mean, I haven't had enough experience with Hat Man to really give a conclusion on it. Russell or the Hat Man tries to keep people up, so it sleep deprives them and it weakens people more. Yeah, I mean, it could be like a regular spirit that gets influenced by something darker. I mean, a darker demon can influence a spirit to do its dirty work. Yeah, Pope Lick Monster. Yep. I never sleep. Well, don't you run on Red Bull there, Damien? Good point. Yep. Now the Lord's Prayer rarely works. One has really, really believe. Yep. Yeah, you got to have a strong faith. I mean, for us that we go out and deal with that darker stuff, we have to. We have to have a strong faith, and because let's be honest, sage doesn't work against your darker stuff. I mean, you have to use holy water, and this I learned from my mentors, Sister Farrah Rose and Father Bob Bailey, Wade Kirby, those guys. So you have to have a strong faith, a strong light around you to really combat them because it'll take its toll on you. I'd love hypnosis session in case anything else happens, but after that, but not done that yet. Yeah, make sure you get it done by a legit one though. Only Red Bull. Yep, I thought so. I remember you saying you drank some kind of energy drink. Well, we got about 20 minutes left of the show, so if anybody's got any more questions, comments, feel free to put them up. Russell Wright have some said holy water may not even work due to the level of evil spirits, etc., that one's facing. Most may just hide till you leave and come back. Yeah, exactly. I mean, a lot of people don't realize with your darker stuff too, you have power over it. But when you're scared, that makes you weak to it. That's what it feeds off of. It feeds off of fear. Not had water in over a year. What's the cryptid that drives your passion and would love to capture? Mine would be I want to capture the Momo monster here in Missouri, the native, and it hasn't been spotted since the 1970s. That is one of the cryptids. The other one would be the Pharaoh people. I want to go out and see if there's existence of the Pharaoh people, which I did a show on that, and I will post a picture of them. This is the Pharaoh people. These are one of the ones I would like to go out and check out. Oh, the Pharaoh people, they're known to live in the Appalachian and the Smoky Mountain Park regions. They they were said to be possibly old miners that had escaped the Civil War, and they live in the mine shafts. And they kidnap people. They're cannibals. They also go out and they hunt. They were known for setting fires to the soldiers' tents. There was a report that an anthropologist and a park ranger were out in the Smoky Mountain National Park, and he was checking out on the existence of Bigfoot out there, and he ended up they encountered the Pharaoh people, and there was a movie kind of based on it, and the ranger ends up getting knocked out. They thought the Pharaoh people thought they killed the ranger. The guy manages to escape and makes it to another guy's campsite, and he goes to get the truck. Well, the doctor's wounded, and he ends up. They run into the Pharaoh people, and the guy that's going to get his truck gets killed by the Pharaoh people, and the doctor, he's stabbed again. He's kind of bleeding out, and there was also a girl with him that the doctor had found, and she ends up escaping and surviving with the ranger. The ranger shoots one of them, and they manage to get into the truck and leave. But they date all the way back to the 1800s. These Pharaoh people do, and people still report them, and they think they contribute to people gone missing in the Appalachian, which is here's a drawing that someone had drew of their faces. So while not, yeah, kind of similar to the Tommyknockers. So while not the same, who knows? In 50 years, the mole people of NYC, old subway systems, may be in the realm. Yeah, true. I mean, you never know. The way the veil in the world is going, I mean, you got a lot of negative in this world right now. I mean, veils are thinning and stuff's coming through. I was talking to an archbishop about the world, and with all the negative energy and wars and the violence that's going on, and they even said part of this world's going to end up being possessed before it's over. The ones that don't have faith and that are out there causing the violence and all that are going to end up being possessed from it because they're just feeding the minions. So there's a little bit on the Pharaoh people. Damien, if you scroll back through Supernatural Inc. and the videos, it's probably last month or so. You'll see the video I did on the feral people of the Appalachian. Sweeney began being true story Scottish cannibal, 16th century, lived in caves and ate people. Yeah, I've heard of that actually over there in Scotland. Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one. I talked about that. I just did a show on sheep squatch, which is another cryptid in the Appalachian Mountains. The screaming woman of the woods from the Appalachian Mountains, which was based on a movie, The Hunted, with Josh Stewart. Um, see, I might still have a picture of the skull of the screaming woman of the woods that I did. Here's the actual skull. They took a picture of the screaming woman of the woods. That was a girl that had been dragged out by lumberjacks. She was home by herself, and she is known to haunt the Appalachian woods now in West Virginia. Russell, the other feral people story I heard was like yours. They were all killed. Some people, either two or three people, got away from a group or so, drove away. They were like, yeah, there was a ranger. He's retired now that survived that attack from them feral people. And he tells his story on YouTube on a podcast that a guy interviewed him. Would you solo investigate or team up? I don't recommend solo, especially out there. I mean, I don't recommend solo investigating at all. I mean, I've done it, but if it's my dad and my dad's watching the cameras and I'm in camera view the whole time. So, but I wouldn't be out looking for these feral people by myself. Did you get lost? I mean, countless, look at missing 411. Countless people are going missing each year in those woods. Hunters, people hiking the Appalachian trails. Yeah, I mean they're like in packs. No, they say the spirit of the girl does. She emits the scream through the woods, and the movie The Hunted, which I'll show you the cover of it. If you guys haven't seen it yet, it's a must see movie with Josh Stewart. It depicts he had the actual experience with that woman of the woods, screaming woman. It was based on him when he went to college and he was hunting a piece of property and he encountered this screaming woman of the woods. When they went back to the site, they found the area burned and bones of people they killed and they ate them. Yeah, they would drag them back into the mine systems and never be seen again. I'd eat an apple. Banshee screams also. Hey, Carol, welcome in. Russell, no, unfortunately, either you didn't have time for my question, however, your guess. I didn't have any knowledge of that story your Green Beret guest last week. The question was about with last week I had Pop on last week, and he's a former first sergeant, Green Beret, Army paratrooper, and he was on last week talking about his paranormal experiences being in Iraq. The disappearance of Dennis Martin and why the U.S. Army Special Forces unit was brought in to help search. Yeah, I'll have to get Pop back on again so we can talk about that. And he's talking about having me as a guest on his show. He has the Redonkulous on YouTube and Rumble and that. He's talking about having me as a guest on his show as well. So when he does, we'll bring that question up. He ate giant reports of sand people in Iraq. Yeah, this was at Abu Ghraib prison. He was stationed at, Damien, and that's where Saddam Hussein would torture political prisoners, and that's where they housed a lot of the political prisoners from the Iraqi war. And they had a shower room where they had a tank of acid where they used to dip the prisoners in to get rid of them and kill them. They dunk them in a vat of acid. Yes, Pop. He didn't know about that. The thing, it was questioned why the U.S. Army Special Forces were brought in to help search, and they were loaded to the teeth too. I think they said. Yeah, that is a little strange. Why they would bring the military in for that? Why didn't they just have a search and rescue like most do? Like my friend, I call him Coach Fry, Coach Ed Fry. He used to be part of the mountain rescue in Montana for search and rescue when people would get lost in the woods. And this, I think, was from the park rangers and sheriffs who were there. They were like, these guys are going in the forest like they are preparing for combat. What are they planning to run into? Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Maybe because of the reports of the feral people being out there. Could be. I mean, other people believe that, and these people are actually in a video on YouTube. See, they call these feral people, but these guys actually, I've seen the video with these guys. These guys actually live in a house. They have their own house and everything, so they're not considered feral people, but they are interbreeding type people. So I don't those I wouldn't consider feral people. But they do live back in the woods and in their own houses, and they're off the grid. I think it was park rangers. And it was 1969, which was unusual. Yeah, that is unusual. I get lost going to shops. Thank goodness for being a night owl. I navigate with stars. True. Yeah. I don't know if they ever did, Greg, run into anything out there. Southern hemispheres, I'd be lost though. Yeah. Yeah, it's actually good if you know how to navigate with stars too. Us hunters do that too. You too, Josh. Thanks for tuning in. tune in next week too. I've got a good guest next week. So we got about 4 minutes left of the show. My guest next week is going to be Jenny Switzer. She is the lead ghost tour guide for the Missouri State Penitentiary. She will be on the show, and we're going to be talking about Missouri State, the hauntings next week. The week after, I have an author coming on, and he'll be on to talk to us about his book that he wrote from Connecticut. And I will tell you his name here in just a minute. He's also, what I was reading, he's also a magician, also, from what I read. It is author William J. Hall will be my guest on the 19th. He wrote the book on the world's most haunted house, Bridgeport Poltergeist on Lindley Street. And he's also been on the Discovery Channel as well and the Travel Channel. Russell, if you're able to get Brent Thomas of Paranormal Portal YouTube, you'd love him. Great guest, great guy. Has some stories for you. Plus, you'd be it. Okay, yeah, I'll reach out to him. If you'd like, Granzer, send me an email with all his stuff. Beyond Life Paranormal Research at gmail.com. And I'll look him up. I can make money disappear. Yeah, we can all do that, Damien. That's for sure. All the equipment we buy for this, I mean, we're spending thousands of dollars on equipment for our passion, what we do. So apologies for suggesting that. I didn't mean to impose. I dropped your name to a few other channels out there. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Granzer. Wonder if authors can manifest entities. Yeah, you can. I mean, that's if you look at like the Conjuring movies, for instance, they actually had to have a priest on set to do protection, prayers, bless the set, bless the actors, because they were talking about and recreating the demonic. So they had priests on set. I mean, if you look at like Poltergeist, the movie, shortly after Poltergeist was filmed, the little girl, Carol Ann, she died. The Exorcist movie, based on the Exorcist boy from St. Louis, Linda Blair got very sick and had a lot of health issues afterwards. So some of them movies are a curse. So it could be the same with books as well. You have to protect yourself even when writing them, because if you're writing about that stuff, you're still inviting, you're still calling. So, well, I was born in Bridgeport. The hospitals is on top. Yep, I've heard that. Beyond Life Paranormal Research at gmail.com. Here, I'll type in the chat for you, Granzer. People say we make money. Nope. Even if we break, if you break, it's even a good hobby. Yep. That's like us. You won't ever see us charging. We will never we'll never charge a client to investigate their home. None of that. That is one thing we will never do. Because it's not like they can call the cops for help or say, "Hey, I got a ghost in my house." To a cop, you need to come arrest it. We'll never do that. We'll never charge. So, any dinosaur cryptid? No, nothing in my state. I've never heard of any dinosaur cryptids here in Missouri. I haven't even heard any in New York growing up in New York State either. So, well, we're going to go ahead and close the show out. I thank everybody for joining me tonight. Be sure to tune in next week with Jenny Switzer from Missouri State Penitentiary. That's going to be a good show. Listen to some of the history on the Missouri State if you've never been there. And I recommend that place if you want to do an investigation. That's definitely a good place to go to. It's got a lot of hauntings, a lot of history. It's the most violent place, the bloodiest 47 acres in Missouri. And not this week. I am scheduled for April 20th as a guest on Diego the Podcaster. I will be on his show. And then anybody else, it seems people have been contacting me left and right to be on podcasts, so we'll see what it brings. Oh, you're welcome, Damien. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Informative and fun. You did good with big words. Yeah, it's actually weather cleared up today. We've been lucky so far. The tornadoes missed us. They stayed south of us, so we made out all right. Although my former members, Tammy and Ray, near where they used to live, and they moved to Carolina now, but where their old house used to be, they weren't so lucky down in Nevada, Missouri, and down through there. They got hit pretty bad, and there's a lot of flooding going on down south too. I saw. Also, we also got some events coming up. For the ones that haven't tuned in, that September 27th, we will be at Bordertown Paracon in Bordertown, Kansas. October 4th, we will be at Rock Island, Illinois, the Rock Island Paracon with Get Haunted, Nesper. There's a lot of big names out at that one. That's going to be a big Paracon. Make sure you come out. And we'll be there with Vixen Paranormal. We'll be there. Nesper, they'll have the Haunted Museum will be there. Annabelle will be there. Like I said, Get Haunted. Several other teams. There's a lot to name. Check out the page, the Rock Island Paracon page on Facebook, and it has all the information to get your tickets at, so you can get in. I know the vendor spots, I think, are sold out already. Are you going to fly over from Scotland there, Damien, to come see us? Yeah, the Shadow Doll, she's intense. I can tell you that. She's very intense, that Shadow Doll is. We got to do a session with her when she was here in Missouri at Missouri State. That was an awesome one. I got to see Annabelle also up close. She's another one that's very intense. A lot of people say she's a hoax. She's definitely not a hoax. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Be great to meet you, Damien, in person if you do come out. And then we're waiting to hear for October 11th on another Paracon called EerieCon at the Ashmore Estates. And that one we will be guest speaking at. So, and we'll also probably be guest speaking at Border Town. And then we may be doing one in August. I'm waiting to hear back on that one, but and then just keep an eye on our group page. Events will be posted if we're doing any public paranormal events or anything like that. Right now, we're working on a lot of residential cases, so those we kind of remain private. We don't disclose a lot of that stuff. So, Russell, the Annabelle doll is in the museum. Yeah, it's in the Warrens Occult Museum. I know Sam and Kobe did an overnight paranormal investigated there. Overnight investigated it twice, I believe, because the second time they did it, they did a fundraiser for Feeding America. So you'd hug Annabelle? They won't let you hug Annabelle. Trust me, Damien. They don't let nobody touch that. The only one that moves her is Dan himself, and he's the only one that touches her. That's one doll you do not want to hug. She's already hurt several people. So if you get me as a guest, I can show up with the white sheet and 2 aisles. Right. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, I played that prank as a kid before. My neighbor's friend was in the house by himself, and the house was actually haunted, so we went downstairs and was banging on the pipes and the heating ducts, and every room we could hear him in, we would bang on the pipes and stuff and scare him, and he ran out of the house crying. I got Ouija board arms. I'm slightly different. Yeah, but I don't think they'd open that case and let you hug her. They won't let you do that. I know for a fact my family's very strict on that for science. If she can actually hurt a priest, and she did that, she caused a car accident. She's hurt Dan before too, as well. Uh, no, I'm not scheduled to do anything with our cousin John. I want to though. I'm probably gonna go see him in Connecticut. I'm gonna take a visit up there and see him. My dad and I are because we want to go see the rest of our family. So, but we were waiting to hear on the Gettysburg Bash, and I know John's gonna be at that one, but I haven't heard back from him yet. And then we're gonna be in Tennessee also at the Smoky Mountain Terror event with Outlaw Paranormal. And then at the Euro Shrine with Outlaw Paranormal, their event, and SRS Paranormal, they're hosting the event at the Euro Shrine. That is also for the public. That's right after Smoky Mountain Terror that Friday and Saturday night. So I believe they're doing 2 nights of it. Total respect for the keepers and wouldn't try anything but a fast. Hell yeah. I've actually got some dolls in the Warrens Occult Museum also, Damien, that I picked up from a location that are demonic dolls. I'm waiting for Dan to make a case for him, and hopefully they'll be traveling right along with him. So I've got stuff in his museum. I've got stuff in John Zaffis's museum as well. So that's where I send all my haunted stuff to. Oh, you're welcome, Jim. Thanks for tuning in. Were they calling to you? How did you feel around them? You could feel those dolls. You could feel the difference in them, that they're not like your regular spirit in them. You can tell they're demonic. Annabelle herself, I made the mistake of watching one. I was watching one of Ed's videos where he was giving a tour of the museum, and they zoomed in on Annabelle's eyes. Well, I looked her in the eyes, and that night when I went to sleep, I saw Annabelle, and she is known to connect to you telepathically. That's what hurt the priest before he got in the accident. He seen Annabelle, and then he crashed. So, but those dolls that we picked up, they were bad. I mean, they turn their heads, they grin at cameras. The one causes heart palpitations. So, safest place for them is behind lock and key in a case at the Warren's Occult Museum, where they get put to sleep and they're at bay and they're bound. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I thank everybody for joining me. I see there's still 7 hanging strong. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody tuning in. You guys are what makes this show go. Also, be sure to check out Supernatural Inc. for our custom merch. Katie Stafford's, reach out to her if you want a podcast shirt. We have keychain stickers. So we've got hoodies. I had a human tooth gold ring that. Well, that's like the shadow doll. She's got a human tooth sticking out of her mouth. You're welcome, Granzer. Thanks for tuning in. I would need more than a black jacket. Yeah, you would with Annabelle. I mean, with my abilities, when I seen Annabelle at the Warren's Occult Museum when we went to the Warren's Paracon, she even said to me, "Oh, we meet again." So she already knew who I was. So, all right, guys, tune in next week. Like I said, Jenny from Missouri State Penitentiary is my guest next week, and it's going to be a good show. Don't want to miss that one, and listen to all the haunted history, her experiences being a ghost guide there at Missouri State all those years. So, tune in next week. Stay humble, stay safe, and we'll see you again next week.